How are we living, boys? We are doing no brain build again. This is a build that you guys actually talked about enjoying a few months ago, where basically the idea is that you put no thought into your item choices. Alright, you run the same runes every game, and then you just make it work. So the build is Bork by Cleaver, Sterix, Spear Visage, and then 5th item, you're allowed to think if you want to. Go Guardian Angel if you don't want to. You go Jack Show, Overlords, everything that's enjoyable. But that's the plan. Now the idea about not thinking is I'm actively going to not think about anything this game. That's what I do here. No, I'm kidding. But that is the build, and we're going to bring it home. We're starting with the Raptors and the Krugs path. This is just to make sure that you can get level 5 before you recall. How do you do that? You just full clear, like usual, right? Hit every single camp, go get your crab, and then your Raptors will spawn once you're here. And then you go get those, get your Krugs, and then you recall, and that'll give you enough money to make sure that you have pickaxe and plus dagger if you're, catching some minions here and there. If not, it'll all be completely okay. So that's the plan. This build, we have done this one before, I'm not gonna lie. And people tend to think that, like, hey, it's been a month, Logan, you're gonna update it? And it's like, a build like this doesn't really need updating. The point is that you can run this build into any game and not worry about it. Any team comp of your team, their team, doesn't matter. You can run this every time. So by concept, it's like one of my most favorite builds to run. Because a lot of people, I don't know, man, you guys make this game so much harder than what it actually is. Like, don't get it twisted, this game has a lot of depth, right? Like, that's not crazy at all to think. But a lot of you are focusing on, like, man, one of the worst things to do is look at it in the wrong place, right? You're looking for a needle in a haystack, but you're looking in your bathroom. Lock it in. W analogy. Nice. Now the clear with this build is a little slower than usual, especially when you start Raptors. If you start red buff itself, your Raptor start is a little bit slower, but the idea is that it sets up your level 5. So there's a give and take to every path. You just have to pick one that you like and keep it moving. So right here we got 326, 325 actually. We're prepped up on this. Now Zinzao is 12 farm, so we know that he did a 3-camp gank to somewhere. Looks like it might have been bot lane. But our game plan is set up because we are intending to not think at all. So I'm not even thinking, look, I'm just walking at this gank. What's going to happen here? Oh my god, wait, I might have just saw my LeBlanc do a little bit of trolling, but oh my god, wow. Jungling is so hard, guys. You really have to put a lot of thought into this. This role is not OP. And then we are back to where we thought we'd be, where we go straight to our Raptors, into our Krugs, and then we're there. And right, people are like, well, what if your team misses everything? Hey, my LeBlanc chained a minion. My LeBlanc messed up the 100% interaction. There is a 0% chance that if you do that interaction of Silas chains into LeBlanc, that does not happen. So now we're going to kill these Krugs, and we're going to take our recall. 1 second, look at the chat. Look at the chat before he gets banned. You're gone! The thing about negativity is it only has as much power as you give it, right? So like that person, right? He's EUW in his name. So he's trying to represent EUW. Now I know the Briar community actually has tons of EUW Briars. So hopefully that's not you. And if it is, enjoy the video. You know what I'm saying? You weren't meant for the stream. That's okay. That's okay. Now, our wolves should be up here in about 5 seconds, so we can actually just stand here and wait. Usually you'd want to be doing something at all times, but because I know that the timer is super close, it is there. And as you can tell, right, I don't have Blitz or Porfess or anything. If you just play enough, right, play enough, and you learn these things and you actively look at them, you can have a good feeling for how this stuff works. So, as you can see, I'm killing every camp in the, at the perfect time, to keep me always doing something, right? And that's the idea of tempo. Tempo is when you're always doing something, right? And, if they drop tempo, that's like if they go for a gank that doesn't work, and that gives you an advantage. There we go, we checked it. Now we see him ganking. Now, this is no thought to it. If enemy jungler goes to gank something, you're just going to walk at it. That's usually the general idea, especially in these Bruiser matchups like Zinzao. Zinzao, if you get ahead of Zinzao, you just win, right? So he's on double longsword, I'm on pickaxe recurve, so it's not even close. He's going straight for grubs, Dragons are definitely better for my team because we have an insane team fighting comp, but grubs are actually pretty good for us too, so if they can get him off of that, we can slide through for 2. Void mites are the best part about them, but generally speaking, you actually, oh, that might hit. Love that for me. No thoughts, only Briar are. We do need to make sure that this wave goes in, but I need to not W when Twitch is near, or I'll just run under turret and be upset. Oh, happened anyway, we're all good. Now, Zindel's probably still on top side, but we would like to try and meet up there now. We don't really want to take his bot side too much because his team is coming out of base. We would, I don't know, you know, we would be at risk of them coming to annoy us and wasting our time. So again, tempo is all about perma doing something. So we want to take the easier route, which is just hitting our stuff. He probably just warded that, so that tells you that Zindel's not there. They wouldn't need a ward if he was there. Our Renekton wants a gank here. I'm not really loving the idea of it. I would like to farm my camps instead. We see Zin actually going there. I'm on ward. This is actually a bad fight. Let's just flat out not take it. He used E and W, so there's just nothing he can do about that. Interesting. Okay, we get Blaze Flash for free. That ain't bad. Zinzel could play for my Krugs here, or they're leaving. I'm going to try and greed going for this. If Zinzel was here, I would just simply run to my Raptors. I'd run far away to my Raptors, try and heal up, and then fight for my red. Just because I'd be too low health to play for my red itself. Make sure I kill all of these just to give my cooldowns a little bit more time in case Zen was standing right here. Odds are he's on the grubs. There you go. Because he's prioritizing neutral objectives, that's really smart. It's really no big deal. Again, no brain build, right? You're building the same thing every game, so now you can think about these decisions a little bit more, and you don't have to worry about too many things going too wrong. LeBlanc's pinging that she's low and wants a gank. I see a Silas that I would kill alone, so as you can see, we are gone. I like that combo. I'm going to put him into the wall for it though, because, oh, he got feared. My LeBlanc doesn't know how my champ works. That's all good. Luckily that is like, it's like chain interaction for Silas, where if Silas ever Rs me, you're in the wall. You're certified in the wall, and he can't do that back to us. It's not too bad. We got his ult for free. We got to help mid out a little bit. And we're pulling pressure on their support. Their support is like perma roaming. It isn't too bad. We're doing well. Now we're going to finish this full clear. And then we're going to go straight to base, get our item, and then play for the next neutral objective, which will be the dragon. Now, when you see something like a minute 50, basically that means that you have time for another iteration of camp. So we're actually going to get our item, run topside to clear all the camps back down to make sure that we get as much money as possible. Stay doing something. Check our runes out a little bit. So Conqueror, again, Conqueror, the number only tracks the healing, not the damage. You always get damage because each stack gives you more adaptive damage. So it's not tracking that. If it did, that would be crazy, right? But generally speaking, we're doing pretty good.
Goat of Briar. I've never seen anything like this before.
We're up a ton of farm, and this is how you win games in 2024. Is you just, well, actually, we're not up as much farm as I thought we'd be.
Logan,
but this is how you win games in
Briar.
2024. You just
Like
have to continue to farm so that you can stay relevant. Thank you for all the follows, y'all. Thank you so much. We're generous. He's almost on Titanic, but we're on full Bork here, so we would definitely win the one. Hello, my friend. Silas and LeBlanc is a lane that will always fight, so you can get a huge advantage out of them. I would like to play for this crab, because this crab could be the difference in getting a, you know, a dragon into grubs kind of rotate. Now, I'm not going to go too fast at this Zinzo here, because the dragon's not up yet. So, take this moment when he's just walking around doing nothing, hopefully doing nothing, and farm up. Because again, he's just walking around doing damage, not really accomplishing anything. We have flash, we're fine. I want to ult, but it doesn't look that good right now. I think just regularly walking is better here. 1, 2, start E. 3, put him into the wall. Just kidding. It is 3 seconds, I just counted too fast. My bad. Zillion R is different from GA. GA is a 4-second animation to come back. Zillion R is 3 seconds. And then Zonia's obviously is not 2 or 3 either. So there's a lot to it. You have to make sure your counting is good. Now I play Briar, right? I'm not meant to count, but oh wow. That's a rough look. Zinzo and Zillion are coming. You can try and kill this dragon perfectly. Nice, get out. Again, you have too much money, you don't want to fight again. Right? They're probably going to go here. You could recall and run straight to those grubs. If you watch my videos, you know I'm greedy. I do not care, bro. I'm getting my camps. And again, I didn't use R there because the animation of just kicking it could kind of change the trajectory of how far they get away from that. Right? From the position that they were in, where I knew from playing Briar enough that I could actually just walk there and win that situation for us. So that's why I did it the way I did. Now, you assume that this is going to be a team fight, so what you're going to do is grab some tankier stats, because you know that if you're playing Briar, you're probably going to be in the front. I'm going to shoot here, where this opening is, where he just gets hit, or it hits here. This is like an awesome line that usually hits everything, but sometimes, man, you know what I'm saying? It just be like that at times. It really do. All we need is 1 grub. If they get 6, our game is unplayable. If they get just 3 or 4, our game is lit. Now I have smite for this, I'm not too worried. You always E is most damaging ability. It's all good. They're just trying to waste your time. I could not care any less. Look at that. Bam. Bam. I'm actually going to save my smite so that they can't contest this crab too. If they had less vision overall, right, they just had 1 million people here. The odds of them having a ward somewhere in here makes invading his blue not that good. As you see, Zillion walking down. Again, Zinzao could still play for this, and his Silas would walk first over your LeBlanc. So it becomes more and more risky to go for an invade like that after a team fight, because the odds of 1 ward scouting you is pretty real. Nice. We're almost about 10 CS a minute, and again, this is turn your brain off, play Briar, right? You already are the worst player in the lobby ever, says your team, because you play Briar, and this champ is just so free, and that's why everyone plays it in High Challenger. Is because it's the best champion in the game. This guy just used a spell. That's rough. Orc slow is really good. Step up for tap E and then auto. Now the tap E slows him down, but also adds another bleed stack. So if he were to, you know, get farther away, you'd be able to catch him, or rather kill him without having to catch him. But it also adds a slow that lets you catch him, which is good. Zinzao doesn't have smite upgrade, so as long as I slow kill this rift between the numbers of 1200 and 900, I will be able to give him 0 chance to stop me here. Nice. Once you auto 3 times, the back guy will spawn ASAP on this next auto, so it's going to spawn in 1. Sometimes it do be bugging, I'm not going to lie, too. Luckily, it'll swing back to you if it ever bugs like that. Really not that big a deal. Slow kill to 1200, that way there's no BS. Nice. They went for another bot dive. Interesting. I'm walking here. My Ashe is probably getting irritated at my Sona not ever being there, but that's fine. We're on 2 items, he's on 1. This is completely free. Did she steal that? That would be hilarious. You feel? Oh, yeah. If they want to go forward, trust me, man, I'm there for it. Use just Q here, let him die. I'm going to get this. Look. Just flash from Briar in 2024, bro. Ow! I'm gonna keep practicing it, man. Ain't nothing to it. It's because of the pressure. I know people are watching, man. I would be locked in. If I was playing solo queue with nothing, I'd be room light off, locked in, face glued to the monitor. Right, and that's one of the best Briar Rs in the game, is when people are like overextending for a teammate that's worth, you know, less than usual. You missed again, dude. I'm telling you, it's the people watching me, bro. It's pressure. Nice. Again, our next item is Sterix, and our boots are plated steel caps or ninja tabbies for my OGs. And the idea behind this build is that you have an armor boot, you have a tenacity from Sterix, you have magic resist from Spirit Visage, and all 4 of those items are like the Briar core. Oh, hello, my friend. I'm just gonna put him into the wall. I'm not even worried about it. Sorry, bro. It is what it is. Sorry, bro. Dragon is the most important thing. Oh, they have a. There's your no brain build. Short video. I mean, to be honest, we couldn't have played that one better, right? It was like a perfect game. Again, you don't have to care about your items at all. You don't have to do anything. Just lock this build and make decisions in the game. That's all it is. Nice. And wasn't my bot lane losing, right? People are always like, oh my god, Logan, every video you just have winning everything. You do realize I click the start recording button before the game is going, right? So, yeah, I don't know what you want me to do, man. I click start recording, and then it works. Nice. Huge, good damage. Good damage taken. Runes. Again, it only tracks the healing, no big deal. It did damage too, that's an invisible stat. Nice. Huge. I know that game was a little short, but we have this tidbit of knowledge from Riot August. There's this channel, He Who Quacks, that posts Riot August like clips, basically. And there's one where is Briar viable and Hyamar. I got like a minute through it on stream, and I was like, wait, YouTube kind of needs to hear this too. So this for both, so enjoy. So we're going to just watch this. Maybe I'll comment. Usually, I don't know how much I like people to talk during videos, but maybe this will be like interactive enough where my opinion might have any value to provide.
Sorry if it's asked, but do you genuinely think Briar is unplayable in high elo, or is it just a case of community hive mind? I think compared to other options, you have to work much harder on Briar to get the same results.
Facts.
And so, like, if you're playing Briar and High MMR, if you wanted an easier time to get the same results, you could play Nocturne or Vi or Graves. Actually, Graves is kind of hard, but like, you see what I'm getting at? And so it's not that she's like useless. It's that she is very, very punishing and hard to play when your opponents know what they're doing. And so you are forced to have perfect decision making, which is not something that other characters are forced to have. It's like a Kha'Zix player doesn't need to have perfect decision making, because if he ever screws up, he can hit R. And
True!
leave,
Broken.
right? And so I do think Briar is viable in high MMR. If you're really good and you make really good decisions, you can make her work. Logan Jungle is an example of someone who makes her work. The catch, though, is that for all that effort and all that hardship, there's probably other characters who will like do just as well without like the downsides that she brings. So yeah, I wouldn't say she's useless. I wouldn't say she's non-viable in high MMR. I would say that for most players, though, she is weak in high MMR compared to other options, and you have to work a lot harder to get things out of her in high MMR. But if you do put the work in and you do have really, really good decision making, Briar's got some very, very powerful stuff that she can offer a team. She's a pretty crazy front line. She can go insane with healing depending on the situation. She has a targeted stun. Targeted stuns are just good.
True.
She has pretty good early game ganks. She's got global presence if you play it right and you have a team to play around, right? Like, there's a number of things that Briar can do in high MMR that are pretty nice. But she's just really, really punishing if you ever screw up in a way that most other characters you're playing against aren't going to be. That's how painful it is to lose early game on Briar, because it's non-recoverable. Yeah, Briar has a hard time when she's behind, like a really, really hard time. Now, that said, so this is something I could just kind of think about the game. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right.
Just real quick, like, I mean, sure, any melee is going to have a tough time, but generally speaking, dude, you need to address what got you behind, man. Just address what got you behind.
There's a lot of characters.
So many people will just call it right then. They'll just be like, well, I'm behind now. GG, nothing I can do. And it's like, no, man. What did you not see? What invade did you not see coming? You know, what time at the minimap were you not looking, and what were you looking at? There's so it's a personal gripe of mine. I'm locked.
Who are really good at going.
Sorry.
There's a lot of characters who are really good at going in and being snowbally while going in. And then if they get behind, they suck, right? And I think one interesting thing about those characters...
I've never seen anything like this before.
Thank you for the follow, bro. Pausing it so the audio doesn't mess up.
Is most people who play them, including myself, don't consider, well, if I'm behind and can't go in, what if I just peeled? Briar's like this, Leona's like this, Vi's like this. It's kind of a thought of like, if you're losing on Briar, Leona, Vi, instead of trying to, hunt down the enemy AD carry, assuming there's someone on your team who's doing
I've never seen anything like this before.
Why don't you become a stun bot for your AD carry or a stun bot for your mid laner, right? And just sit on top of them and make it so they can never be approached. I think that's something that, like, legitimately, in a number of situations, Briar might actually be decent at, but it's hard to just not want to push the go-in button. You're better off dying and engaging a team fight than being a bad peeler? Well, yeah, if the engage is
not
good,
true.
Right?
What?
Just because you die doesn't mean the engage is bad. There's a lot of times where you die and it's a good engage, which is something else to think about with Briar. Assassin Briar is more fun than Bruiser Briar. It's definitely fun. It's definitely more viable.
I don't know if it's more fun. Like, when you hit a 4-man kill on crit, it's awesome. But Bruiser feels so disgustingly cracked because, like, I don't know. I prefer my uptime, right? If I play a 25-second team fight where I hit, like, 6 animation cancels perfect, I'm flying over walls, doing all this and that, like, that, to me, is more fun than... if, for example, I just hit W and I kill 3 people with just watching their health explode. That's more fun to me. But I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
Assassin Briar is more fun than Bruiser Briar. It's definitely fun. It was definitely more viable, too, in higher MMRs because you could, like, one-shot people. It was also a little degen, which is why we moved away from it. I think Briar, like, kind of wants to live and run around and heal and stuff, which the Assassin Briar was a lot more reliant on just one-shotting. So this is definitely a Titanic game. I feel like I play Briar better when I build Blade of the Ruined King, by the way.
Most people do.
I think I'm a bit better at the damage playstyle of her. With her Q procking on hit and W reactivation, I'm surprised Triforce isn't more popular on Briar. I always thought she'd be a Triforce user, but I don't know, Triforce just isn't what it used to be.
True.
Triforce,
Facts.
like the old days of Triforce, like Triforce gave you good cooldown reduction, it gave you good move speed, and now it gives you neither of those things. Like, what is Triforce now? It only gives you 15 ability haste. That's not a lot.
Okay.
It doesn't even give you passive movement speed anymore. Yeah, like... current Triforce just isn't it compared to the old one. To make Triforce work on a character like Briar, I think you just need a lot more stats.
Sure.
Versus Blade of the Ruined King kind of gives you those stats. Plus, it's very expensive, too. No longer gets tons of damage. No, Triforce isn't all that amazing of an item anymore. We took off a lot of the things that made it a good thing for bruisers. And so now it's a lot more specialized. You have to be a very certain type of bruiser to like it. Like, if you really, really, really like Sheen, right? Like, Trinity Force can still be a good item. But it used to be kind of like an item almost every bruiser could buy. It's less the case.
Nice. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I always love to hear what August has to say about it, I'm not going to lie. Because it helps me, like, find an insight on, like, more variants and jobs and stuff. But either way, I mean, that's the go, right? He made the character. But, yeah, I don't know. That's, there's a lot to it. One day we're gonna get in a call and fucking just talk some Briar, but I don't know, man. What do you got to do to get that done? I don't know. But yeah, overall, I don't know. I mean, all makes sense. It's like she is a lot more of an investment than these people that can queue up Sejuani or whatever tank and just clear and gank and do whatever, and on one item they get to do whatever they want. But the amount of good that you feel when you completely understand a situation and then it plays out exactly how you say it is unmatched. And a character that can build 19 different builds, and it really doesn't matter as long as that you're like good enough with it that you know how that build will play that fight. It's crazy. It's an unmatched feeling. So, I don't know. I like the video. It was cool. And I got a shout out. Let's go. It's awesome. I'm always so surprised that people even know who I am. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. You have a good one, and happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I don't know. Do your thing.